Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello, my renegades, and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We're getting back into Love Island Series 11, Episode 11. And we know the recoupling is done. We know Jess made her move. In this episode, Jess is a little bit harsh on Harriet, but sometimes I think Harriet can be quite naive in thinking that she still can beg a friend out of Jess. I kind of think Harriet needs to call that a done dusted pathway and keep the frick away from Jess, because Jess is not good to Harriet and Harriet is no good to Jess. At the end of the day, these girls are never ever going to get on because they made a man come in between them the way that they have at the end of the day. So, as I say, before I get into it, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good stuff that you do, because you know I am on the road to 1K. And let's get into this episode. So, we know a triple threat is heading their way. They ain't there yet, but they will be. And then we see, we saw what happened in the recoupling. Harriet basically looked like she got wounded by the move that Jess made at the end of the day. So you see Jess having a conversation with the girls in regards to why she made the move that she made. And in a roundabout way, I kind of feel that she was calling Harriet a mug. She was calling Harriet a mug. Harriet was basically saying that she wasn't sure what she was going to do in terms of the recoupling. Yes, you did. You made your choice. You already knew that you was wanting to pick Ronnie, especially if you managed to get to him before Jess did. You wanted to make sure that you picked him first, but Jess outplayed you both. Let's just put it that way. Which then made Ronnie and Harriet look kind of daft. Jess is basically saying that she doesn't think it's over, and she said this in front of the girls, in front of Harriet's, for Harriet's ears to hear. And this is why I'm saying I do not believe that the games that Jess is playing are necessary, because you know what, it will come up to bite her in the ass. Because the one thing that I don't like Jess is doing is she's using Sean to meet a point or to make a point to run him, and I like it. I don't like that at all. So you see Ronnie and Sean having a chat, and basically Ronnie saying that, you know, Sean's a good geezer, you know, do what you have to do in that sense. And Ronnie saying that he doesn't believe that he treated Jess awful. I'm like, you did. You kind of did. You kind of did. You pitted her up against Harriet, my love. You kind of made her look a little bit stupid at the end of the day. But she's making herself look even more stupider because she's playing this poor ass game that she thinks will literally push Ronnie's hand to make a decision to fight for her. That's the only reason why she made the decision that she made to go with Sean. So Ronnie's basically saying that he ain't gonna be pulling Jess for no chats, and I was like, okay. So then you see Jess pull him a TP call. So basically, Ronnie is definitely feeling the decision that Jess made. He is, because I think he wanted Jess to have picked him. I don't think he really wants Harriet, but again, I think Ronnie is a bit of a player, and I think Jess likes to play unnecessary games, as I've already said. So Ronnie was basically saying that he thinks that what happened there was with Jess was kind of tit for tat. Now, Jess did not deny what he said. Well, you've done this. Here's your choice. I've made your choice for you. You go do what you have to do now. I will sit back and watch how you then behave to either towards me or with Harriet, but either way I'll get my answer. So yeah, she did kind of do a tit for tat kind of thing. Jess was hugging him and basically turned to him and said she won't be as good as in bed. She won't be as good as me in bed. And then Ronnie said vice versa to her about Sean. I was like, yeah, used to are playing some raucous type of game. Used to a toxic. Like, used to an absolutely toxic. So Harriet is loving the fact that she's in a couple with Ronnie, but I'm thinking, you know what, she needs to take a step back from that. She needs not be so clingy about it, because I think Harriet has a tendency to be clingy to the men that she's decided that she likes and she fancies, the way in which she did with Kieran. And I really don't think it's going to work out for her. I really think that Ronnie is going to hurt her, and I really think that Jess is not going to get Ronnie in the way that she thinks she's going to get Ronnie, because Jess went and played her hand, and we'll see how that works out for her. So, as I said, Ronnie is a geezer, and I'm going to keep saying that. Ronnie is a geezer and he's there to play. So Joey turned around, speaking to Harriet and Ronnie at the kitchen, and basically says, what's the odds on them kissing up in the bed tonight? And I was like, you know what, they've already kissed, so it's a moot difference. It won't make no difference at the end of the day, except they're in a bed together. Harriet's basically chatting to Joey and believing that she has more sexual tension with Ronnie than Ronnie does with Jess, and basically Joey was co-signing her bullshit and saying, well, I've seen Ronnie with Jess, and I've seen Ronnie when he's with you, and I would, and basically saying to Harriet that, yeah, she's right, he sees more of the sexual chemistry between them two than he does with Ronnie and Jess. And I'm like, you's like be reading too much into this shit at the end of the day. Like, seriously be reading too much into this shit, and if you keep blowing guff in Harriet's head, she's going to believe the hype. Jess and Harriet, I have to say, bothered me this episode. Like at the beginning, I'm like, the fighting over this man is absolutely pathetic. So you see them two having this conversation, and this is where I say Jess should be careful in how she speaks and how she says her words to Harriet, because Harriet is kind of a sensitive soul at the end of the day, and words can be impactful and words can hurt. And Jess was not mincing her words with this girl, and she was coming off kind of cruel towards her, and that's the bit that I didn't like, the stuff that she was saying. And this is why I was saying that Harriet needs to stop trying to beg a friend from this girl, because this girl don't like her in the slightest. And the only reason why Jess does not like Harriet is because of the situation that they're in with Ronnie. That's the only reason why, over a man, which is actually quite pathetic. If you think about it, it's actually quite pathetic. You see, Joey does try to have like Harriet's back, and I don't like the way how Jess then tried to get the other girlies involved by getting them to back her up, and then Joey had to speak up and say, no, that's not what we're gonna do. No, that's not what we're gonna do. You're not gonna call the other girls in to back you up against Harriet, because that's kind of like all of you against one person. And Jess didn't see how that was coming off, how her communication with Harriet was coming off in the slightest. Because Harriet's not a stupid girl at the end of the day. Yeah, man, I don't really take to Harriet. I don't really like her that way. But I do like Jess, but I will call it bad behaviour when I see bad behaviour. And Jess's behaviour was pretty piss poor towards Harriet at the end of the day. I kind of hope that the episodes coming up, that she will kind of, like, you know, reflect on how she speaks to Harriet and how she carries on with Harriet, and actually apologise to the girl. So remember when I said, yeah, that Ronnie's going to do what he's going to do, and the plan that Jess thought she had is going to backfire on her. Yeah, they all got ready for the beds. They all got ready for the beds. They all got into bed. Jess did her to Ronnie, like, I'm watching you. And I was like, okay, then you best be watching all through the night then, my love, because you know something going to go on between them two. And it did. It did. Ronnie and Harriet were kissing for real. And they were kissing for the longest. And it's the point that they were quiet at first, and then everybody in that room that was awake could hear them. You see Joey's eagle eye sit up. I think it was Kieran. Like, what the fuck? And all the others. And then Jess got up out of bed, walked out the room, because she was that hot. She was that pissed. Yeah, that they were kissing up in the bed. And I thought, well, what did you expect, man? Ronnie's a red-blooded man. And Harriet is an open girl. She's an open girl at the end of the day. Because Harriet was ready for this man. Harriet ain't no girl's girl. She ain't gonna at the end. She ain't gonna give a shit about Jess and her feelings. At the end of the day, Jess spoke to her like shit. So why is she then gonna consider Jess's feelings when it comes to getting in the bed with the man that she wanted? She ain't gonna do that. She gonna kiss the man. She gonna do what she want. She would have had a little bit of loyalty to Jess if Jess hadn't treated her like a pile of dog shit just before she went in on the bed with the man. You think Harriet was gonna let that lie? Nah, Harriet made her move, and I don't blame her. I really don't blame her. So then it comes to the daytime, and you see everybody's getting up in the morning. Yeah, Ronnie and Harriet was quiet when the question got asked about who was kissing who, because they heard their lips and they heard it and which side it was coming from. They didn't really say anything because you know what, Jess was like, well, I heard it too. Who really cares? Who cares, my love? Yeah, you made your choice with Sean. You lay with that choice at the end of the day because you thought that choice was gonna literally push Ronnie's hand to come fight for you. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, did it? No. Made her feel like a dumbass all over again. Anyway, so Jess basically believed that Ronnie was doing what he was doing to piss her off. I'm just like, where does this girl get these things from? My question is, why does she want this man? Ronnie keeps showing who the frick he is every single time, and these bitches in there keep ignoring it. Like, seriously, I don't understand it. She says that she is, a catch, that she knows her worth, all this, that, and the other. And I'm like, but you're still chasing this man who keeps showing you that he don't want you. He keeps showing you that you're just like, a plaything right now, that he can compete you against somebody else. That's what this man continues to show you, that he continues to be a ass geezer and a player. But yet, you know what? You just honestly thinks that, in Ronnie kissing Harriet, it's because he's doing it to piss her off. No, my love, that man probably didn't even think of you when he was kissing that girl. He was probably thinking of something else, but he didn't think of you. Anyway, so you get out to the front of the villa, and they've set it all out as a breakfast dinner date. In their chat, you see Jess talking about how it takes her a while to trust and this, that, and the other, or to warm up to new people. And I'm just like, do you know what, Sean? You're hitting a brick wall with this girl. Jess don't want you. She really don't want you. She only did the picking of you to use you. That's all she did, was to use Sean in the grand scheme of things in order to push Ronnie's hand to where she wanted it to be. But Ronnie ain't fell into the little trap that he would fall into. So I'm like, Omar be chatting enough. He talks a whole heap of rubbish to Umar at the end of the day. So it's AO again with the chats. He's telling Mimi about what they have is real, and I'm like, is it really, AO? Is it really? Because Uma came in, she twists up your head from here to left, right, and centre. Do you know what I mean? So obviously it wasn't that real for you both. So then you go Nicole talking to Kieran about how the locking off situation again, and I'm like, hold on a minute, I already thought they locked off when they were talking in the bed that time, and they said that, you know what, are we locked off then? And they both said yes, but how obviously not. Kieran basically hasn't said it back to her yet. So you see Harriet talking to Ronnie. He gets to know a little bit about her family dynamic, and Harriet is the middle child, and she goes to Ronnie, do I give off middle child energy? Yes, you do. Yes, you do, my love. You give off middle child energy to the highest degree. Spoil is as spoiled does. Joey and Sam be chatting, and all I can say is Sam chats a good game. Yeah, Sam chats a good game. She doesn't realise that she must not realise that there's cameras here, there and everywhere, and captures everything that she says when it comes to Joey and her displeasure of Joey not doing certain stuff. But yet she won't sit and tell Joey in his face that, you know what, this is what's irking my soul right now. Anyway, so the 3 bombshells come. You get Tiffany. Gonna say it from here. She's full of herself. She's been single for 6 years. Sometimes I do wonder why. And all I'm gonna say is, I know this is gonna sound bad, but it was just the size of her teeth. I was just like, when they get their veneers done, do they not measure them for their mouth properly? Because the overbite on them veneers and then the size of them was just doing something else completely to this girl's jawline. But hey ho. And then you have Will. Didn't really know much about him, to be fair, except the fact that, there's a couple people in there that he wants to kind of get to know, and he's probably thinking that, he's going to be able to step foot in and break up some relationships, but we'll just see. And then you got Grace. She's pretty. Grace is pretty. And basically she was talking about how she's had history with one of the guys already in the villa, and we all know that's Joey. And she says, I know, you never know, things may rekindle. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. As soon as they walked in and everybody saw that there's 3 new bombshells coming, all you saw was Joey's face like, what the fuck? And then you see him turn around to Sean and tell Sean that he used to see the girl in the black, which was Grace. And I was like, my guy, you better tell Sam then, didn't you better let Sam know, because Sam was hawking the reaction of Joey and realizing, hold on, something's not quite right here, because especially when Joey went to go and greet Grace and my guy was given the looky. And then he said his head was gone. I was like, yeah. You see that there? Sam was to the sidelines watching and peeping that reaction from Joey, yeah? So she knew something was coming. Because I ain't going to tell a lie. Grace looked good. And she is a natural beauty compared to, Sam and her lip fillers. But hey, I didn't say that. I didn't. Anyway, so Joey reluctantly told Sam that he knew Grace because Sam was asking the questions. And I'm just like, oh my God, are we going to witness player Joey coming back out and making an appearance on Love Island? Because my God, nobody will survive if that happens. Seriously. So Will said, basically saying that he likes a few of the girls in there, but wasn't going to really name anybody, but he did name Uma to Ronnie. They talked about the situation in terms of, right, is anybody closed off? Everybody was hella silent. And I thought, okay, is Nicole and Kieran not going to make it known that they locked themselves off to each other? Obviously freaking not, because Nicole wants it to be locked off, and she was like, well, I'll let Kieran answer that. And Kieran dodged it left, right and centre, didn't even answer that question in the slightest. So Ronnie's basically saying that he was glad that he didn't give no deadline to Harriet or to Jess, because the player Ronnie has come out to play. Joey basically feels fucked. Joe's making excuses left, right and centre, but said that he will chat to Sam as much as he wants to. And I was like, well, damn. Oh, damn. So the girls go, and they're definitely going to get the information from Grace, because Sam knows something's up with this girl. So basically, Grace says that her and Joey met on holiday. It was hot and heavy. They tried to carry it over when they came home, but it didn't work, and they ended up on bad terms. That's basically the gist of it. But looking at the way how Joey's reacted in regards to Grace and seeing Grace again, he's forgot all about them bad terms. So basically, she said they hadn't seen each other for a year, but he did message her a couple of months ago trying to chat to her, but she kind of ignored it. So Grace basically straight off the bat grabbed Kieran and Sean for a chat, and she was basically making herself known. Kieran basically said that they made an entrance. Kieran was hedging. He wasn't exactly forthright when he was asked if he was coupled off with anybody, but he did turn around and say that it would be very hard for someone to come in right now and turn his head in terms of where he's at with Nicole. Did that man sound convinced? No, he didn't sound convincing to me at all, like at all. And I think when it comes to Grace and when it comes to like Kieran and his thinking, I think Nicole needs to be a little bit worried. So you see Sam and Harriet being the proverbial oddballs by themselves, and they're already worried that, but saying that they're not bothered. And this is what I don't get. Why do people do that? Say that they're not bothered about something, but then continue to talk about it because they are bothered about it. I'm just like, if you weren't bothered about it, you would talk about it, you would be phased about it, you just go and do what it is that you want to do, you get on with your day, but you don't. So basically, Sam is saying that Joe was made up when Grace walked in. And I was like, well, he was thinking. He was thinking, my girl. So the surprise one is that Grace actually likes Omar. I didn't see that coming. And I'm kind of like, well, I'm glad for Omar that he has got someone in there that's interested in him and actually wants to get to know him, because I don't think Umar likes Omar at all. Not at all. She's not giving that man a chance. So, you see, Ronnie sitting on the daybed, I think it was with Mimi, and I can't remember who was behind him. And basically, Ronnie was looking out across the villa. And now he was hawking somebody. Even though he had his shades on, you could tell Ronnie was hawking somebody. So Mimi had asked Ronnie how his virtual date was with Harriet. And Ronnie was just like, yeah, great, it went well. That was it. And I was like, wow. Ronnie, don't forget about Harriet Toowoomba now that he see people come in. His eyes were too busy following a certain person around called Tiffany, and I fucking the hell out of her, because he was saying that she looks good, that she had a good body at the end of the day. So she decides, does our Tiffany, to pull Ronnie for a chat. You see Jess and Harriet be looking on. I was like, here it goes, my girls, here it goes. Ronnie is not there to find love in this place. His chat was so laddish, like so laddish. It was untrue. Like what type of girl do you go for? I usually blonde hair with big boobs, and she goes, well, my hair's not blonde. Well, we can kind of see that, Tiffany, but Tiffany didn't look that impressed by the conversation, but actually she then turned and she says Ronnie is her type, and I thought, what the, does this man have sparkle dust in his freaking deodorant or something? What is it that is making these girls be attracted to this man? Yes, sir. Like, seriously, because me not get it. If you get it, please tell me, because I don't know what is making these girls go gung-ho over Ronnie at the end of the day. So, you see Harry and Nicole talking to Will because he pulled them over, and basically they're a part of his list of interests, because he has a list of the girls that he's interested in, and Harriet and Nicole are on that list. Would I feel good being saying that, you know what, I have a list of girls that I'm interested in and you're on that list, and that's not going to instill me with joy at the end of the day. It won't at all. But I think as I said, all of this will be a good test for the couples that are literally trying to make it tried and tested between the both of them. So you see, Sam is by herself, and Joey goes over to talk to Sam now. Sam, I think her insecurities are starting to get the better of her. So basically she's trying to weed out information from Joey, and probably to see if he will lie about knowing Grace or not. But he didn't lie, he actually told the truth of it. And this is where Joey literally pulled up from Sam as if to say, why are you always in that space, in terms of you've already set your mind to, this is how it's going to be. She's coming and you set your mind to, now I'm going to disappear and do X, Y, and Z, when that's not the case at all. Joey feels that Sam always has to put a dampener on things. And I just like, you know what? It will be the proof in the pudding. If Joey goes to speak to Grace and decides to rekindle things up there in regards to their past history,
or try and get to know each other again, it will be in how Joey then treats Sam from here on out. But I do believe that Sam's insecurities have come out to play. Even though she said she's not bothered, that gal is bothered to the ends of the earth and back. So we get to Kieran and Nicole, and they actually do close off to each other. And I'm like, they did it. They actually did it. So do we have an official couple? They haven't said it to the whole of the group yet. And that's what I'm waiting for them to say to the whole of the group. But between themselves, they have coupled off. We get to the night time, and you see Joey text Grace for a chat. He's having this chat with Grace, and you can literally cut the tension between them with a knife. You can see the difference between how Joey is with Sam to how he is with Grace. The eye contact between them both is on point. They do talk about the past and how frosty it was between them after that, and Joey does apologise for how it became frosty, and she accepts that. And then they start smiling at each other and talking with each other with their eyes, and I'm like, oh, when you get this silent communication between people, something will go on. Something will go on then. So you see Sean, and he be flirting with Tiffany. And again, it's always the same banter with this guy. But then when this girl started talking about sweeties because he's the candy man, yeah, he sounded like he was turned on. Just talking about sweeties, like honestly turned on. You see Uma having a chat with Will. And Uma again talks about the whole situation with Ao and this, that and the other. I think, do we really have to go through all of that again? Why don't you just get to know this man from the start, from the jump, and see how things go? And Will definitely likes Uma. And Uma likes what he's putting down. So we shall see what happens from here on out with them two. So Tiffany decides to take Joey for a chat. And again, Sam is like, you see, I told you every girl that comes in here, they'll all go for Joey. No, my lord. This is just par for the course. When it comes to Love Island, you have to develop a thick skin. If you don't develop that thick skin in order to protect yourself, then you're constantly going to be bothered by every other person that comes in here that wants a piece of time with the person that you're with. To get to a game of beer pong, so the ball and the cup are the opposite islander. They have to put the ball in that cup, chug the beer, and do the dare. So Grace's dare was to twerk on the islander of the opposite sex. She picked Sean. Sean was shocked as hell because she was like, what? She picked me? He was like, she picked me. I don't know what that twerk was. She did some kind of little bum shuffle on this man's groin. I was like, what the freak was that? Because I've never seen her twerk like that before in my life. Now, if people have been on TikTok and people have done a video called the white girl twerk, all I can say is that must have been what that was, because that was never a twerk. So Uma had to snug the islander she thought is the biggest player. I was like, could almost eyes good get any bigger when that came? And now, before she even did it, I said I'd pick Ronnie, to be honest with you, and she did. She picked Ronnie. I was like, well done, Uma. But Ronnie was kind of leaning in to kiss Uma that little bit more, but Uma just literally gave her that one little too spicy kiss and then moved off. Yeah, so it seemed as though Ronnie was happy to, like, have a little bit of a lip action with Uma. Harriet, yeah, she didn't look happy by that at all. And I'm like, my love, we all see that Ronnie is a bit of a player up in here. It's you who wanted to run after this man's tail like he was the best thing since sliced bread, but he's not. So Sam had to kiss the islander she thought was playing games in the villa. So she ended up kissing Ronnie. And I'm sorry, it was the most god-awful kiss ever. It kind of makes me wonder why Joey don't want to kiss this girl, because Ronnie literally had to wipe his lips after he kissed her, because she tried to go in deep and he was not feeling that kiss in the slightest. He was like, yeah, I don't want to, and then moved, and then all you saw him do was wipe his lips. I was like, yeah. And again, Harriet looked deflated. I'm like, well, my girl, that's your man. That's who you wanted. So Will, in order of Shag, marry, Ghost, snog the Islanders that would match to each of the statements. So in Shag, he chose Nicole. And you see, Kieran was not looking at that sheet. He couldn't look at that sheet. So it was kind of like a game of, is it a bird, it's a plane? No, it's a freaking eagle to be exact. So then he picked Uma to marry. And I was just like, at that point, he's just kind of like swapping spit at this point. That's just gross. I'm like, Uma will be tasting Nicole after he's just kissed her. That's just not, yeah, no. That was a better kiss than the one that he gave to Nicole, to be fair. And Omar did not like that in the slightest. And then for the Ghost, he picked Sam. But the only reason why he picked Sam, as I said, he just wanted a kiss from her. Sam didn't even have to say who me. She was there fully. Sam was in it. Sam was fully in it. She weren't waiting for a second chance to be asked. So Kieran had to snug 2 islands of the opposite sex he would most like to have a threesome with. Of course, we knew he was going to pick Nicole, and then he did the safe option by giving a peck to Jess on the cheek. So Kieran then pulls away, and you see him talk to Omar, and he said, I knew exactly who I would pick if I didn't cop out with my choice, and that was Grace. And I was like, ain't you locked off, my guy? So this will be a watch this space from now on for Kieran. I mean, he has cheated in the past. He may well mug Nicole off during this stage. Only time will tell. Anyway, so Tiffany had snugged the Islander you would like to share a steamy shower with. She chose Ronnie. I'm just like, there's something in the water for this man. Like, there must be something in the water for this man. Ronnie didn't hold back on that kiss. Let's just put it that way. It went for long. The camera panned to Harriet. Let's just put it this way. You could see the track in Harriet's head, but she looked absolutely dejected. And I was like, this is the man you picked on, my love. This is the man you wanted to win over from Jess. This man has no substance in the slightest. But you know what? You use like one team. What can we say? So Ronnie was loving that, and then it all became the lads being the lads, hugging each other, broing each other, all this, that, and the other. And I said, yeah. This is what happens. This is what happens when young men like Ronnie types get together. They think all of this is kind of like, woo, woo. Do you know what I mean? Them kind of chants. I was just like, yeah, it's lads being lads at the end of the day. So Harriet had to kiss the Islander you find most untrustworthy. My girl kissed Jess on the cheek, and I thought that was absolutely hella stupid. Like that was just a stupid waste at the end of the day, because you could have picked a plethora of people out of them boys of who was untrustworthy, but you decided to go and do what you did to Jess to basically get back for the shit that she said to you. But that's not necessarily being Jess being untrustworthy. It's her being direct and hurting your feelings. But she's not an untrustworthy person, so that was just wasted. That was kind of spiteful. So Joey then had to pick 2 islanders for a 3-way kiss. Joe was fretting on who he was going to pick to do it. So Joey then turned around and really said with his whole chest, the two new girl islanders. And I was like, my guy, what? My God, what? He didn't pick Sam. He picked Grace and Tiffany. Now Grace, he's been hankering to kiss since she come back in. You could tell. And this is why I'm saying there's a reason why Joey is not kissing Sam in any way, shape or form, and why she's complaining about it. There's a reason why he don't want to kiss that girl. So he did his 3-way kiss. Sam did not like that in the slightest at all. Sam was so bothered by this. She was absolutely bothered by this. Now, my thing is it's a bit of a what's the word? Double standard, because the way Sam flung herself into being kissed by other men up in there, I think it's because Sam knows that Joey and Grace have a bit of a history, so it's going to be completely different when them two kiss, because at the end of the day, Joey and Grace have already known each other in the biblical sense, so they know each other's likes, dislikes, all of that. They try to make a relationship go, so it's that insecurity right there for Sam. So Grace then has to then kiss the gob off the gobbiest islander in the villa. Now, I said if it was the boy she was going for, then it would be Ronnie or Joey. I said if it was a girl, it has to be Jess or Sam. I mean, it took Grace a while to kiss, but I knew who ready she wanted to kiss, because Joey was ready, man. Because it was kind of like the lads had stood back and Joey was front and center, like, you know what, you know you want me, so come kiss me, do you know what I mean? I'm here ready, waiting. And Grace really wanted to do that, so she ended up doing it. She chose Joey, but Joey was already there waiting, and that kiss was good. And then as soon as he stopped kissing that girl, Ronnie literally picked Joey up off the floor to hug him. And I'm telling you, the player is coming out to playing Joey. Like, seriously, Ronnie's player was already there, but now that just made that come out even more. You see, in Sam's VC, she was upset, and she's basically feeling that she's now going to be placed as the back burner to Grace and a placeholder. And this is where I'm saying, this is where Sam's insecurities are literally going to do her head in. But that is where the episode ended, and I shall be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button, so when you know I'm on and doing videos, please comment, like, share, and do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K, and I'll be back on your screens very soon. Peace out.